Okay. This was a national bestseller. It's all just about so you see, we have tremendous ability to help one another. And as Casey said, the biggest help that we can give to another person is not sending them to the light and stuff like that, but speaking to them from our own experience. And the intuitive heart approach that we've been discussing is where you allow intuition to select a memory from your past, and you don't know why you're remembering it, and then using a process of talking it out, thinking it through in your hearts in all innocence, you come up with a teaching for the other person that has amazing power to heal. We have this ability in us. Okay, this is something that's dear to my heart, how to go off and create your own vision quest, how to go off into the woods, or if necessary, sit in your own bedroom and light candles and have your own special dream healing ceremony. And Jane Marino. Aha, all right. All right, and last but not least for today, I'm getting all my announcements in. I've made a little video about the Dream Helper ceremony, how I came to work with it, some of what I told you last night, and it's all is a part of a television interview I was on, and it's all re-edited with all of my watercolor paintings that I did from my dreams. Maureen Love. All right. Okay, let's get into our dream groups positioned about where you were last night. And I'll tell you at that point what we do next. First of all, how many of you remembered a dream? See, lots of hands are up. If you didn't remember a dream, you could work with a memory and what you learned from that or bring something to your group. Okay, so the first step is to go around the group and everybody tells their dreams. And hopefully you'll have a written copy to give to your focus person by the time the afternoon's over so they can take that home with them. As you're telling the dreams, listen up, as you're telling the dreams, you can make some very brief notes not to slow down the telling process, because the next step is the group brainstorms what patterns can they see in the dreams. You're looking for patterns. No one dream is going to necessarily give you your evidence. It's the patterns in the dreams. Now in the workbook guide it starts suggesting kinds of patterns you can look for, like different symbols like cars in the dreams, or different situations, fighting and arguing, or feelings and so on. Sometimes the patterns that really have the payoff are you have to use your intuition to see them. In fact, you could look at this as an intuition exercise, because some people say that intuition is the ability to see patterns, because you have to bring something from within you to organize the information. Let me give you an example of two dreams, and you tell me what the pattern is. What's the similarity? In one dream, a person is at a stop sign, a red light. The light turns green, and they begin to go across the intersection. As they're halfway into the intersection, out of the corner of their eye, they see a car coming that's running the red light, and they stop and let that car go by, and then they go on. And another dream, a person is going into the refrigerator to get some milk and cookies. They go into the refrigerator, and they open up the refrigerator door and get the milk, and as they lift the milk up to pour it, it smells sour, and they realize the milk has spoiled. So those are the two dreams. There's no symbols that are the same. So what is the commonality between those two dreams?
Warning.
What?
Warning dream.
Warning. What? There's a good one. You're starting to do something and the action is stopped. Like as in a warning, say, hey, things are not going to be as you assume them to be. A threat to the well-being. Some action is happening, and then is things don't go according to plan. And then later this will come up again in terms of looking for some guidance in the dreams. So anyway, you find the patterns. And then after you've found some patterns, the group starts to process those by asking, what do we feel that these dreams are pointing to? Is this person asking a medical question? Are they asking a relationship question? What seems to be what kind of a question would produce dreams like this? This is somewhat like what an FBI profiler does, is work backwards. We don't know what the person was asking, but here we see the pattern of the dreams. So what does our intuition tell us about what kind of a question would evoke dreams with patterns like this? And then the instructions guide you in sort of narrowing that down. Well, if it's a medical question, what kind of a medical question is being asked? And try to pull some details out. And the group comes up with a hypothesis. The group tries to form a hypothesis about what seems to be concerning the person. What's the underlying cause? What's causing this problem? And then finally, what do the dreams seem to be suggesting by way of a solution? And to get that third part, you need to look for some of the creative aspects of the dream. For example, in those two dreams that I told you about the intersection and the refrigerator, what would seem to be the advice that's being given in those two dreams?
To stop.
What?
Pay attention to your senses.
Pay attention, look before you leap, something of that sort. So when you've got that and you feel you have a hypothesis for your target person, and spend that time, working it out, because right now you're working in innocence because you don't know what the question is. And then sometime towards as 3:30 approaches, you'll have that hypothesis, and when you think you've massaged your dreams as best you can, then last night your focus person wrote out a statement before they went to bed about what they wanted help about, and they'll read that to you and give you some feedback. So you can kind of see then what it was that they were asking, and you can see what your dreams were doing. Then we'll take a break at 3:30. Then when we come back after the break, I'll lead you through the second stage of the process. So that's your goal. And let's hold hands for a moment, bring our groups into focus. And I will repeat one of the Edgar Cayce affirmations that I think is most pertinent to what we're doing. Father, Mother, God, as we seek to see and know your face, may we each, as individuals and as a group, come to know ourselves even as we are known, that we, as lights in you, may give the better concept of your spirit in this earth. Thank you. Okay, let the games begin.
Why don't we go around in a circle?
I don't know why. I know this.
2 or 3 minutes while you ponder this question. This is the last step. Look at your dream and ask yourself this question. What am I learning about myself from my dream? What am I learning about myself from my dream that could be helpful to the focus person and their question? What am I learning about myself from my dream that could be helpful to the focus person and their question? You think about that and then go around the circle and each person share a little bit about what they've learned about themselves from their dream that might be helpful. In other words, we're sharing from our own experience using our dream insights. And at 4:20, we're going to stop because I want to get the 12 target people up here for one final word for closure. So go to it.
Trust.
Any changes in them, in their faces. They're each going to get 1 minute to express whatever they want to say about what happened in their group or how they're feeling or whatever. You don't have to say your question unless you want to, but just let us know what happened. Was it worth your while? Was your group helpful? Whatever.
My question was, should Sally and I go to China in April? My group was extremely helpful, and they loved the question. And they thought it had a lot of depth to it. And we agreed that from everything that they said it was travel, the decision was should I go, and there was a relationship conflict involved in making that decision. They're absolutely right. I want to go with Sally. My husband wants us to go with this Chinese person that lived there, that be off in some place with relatives, etc., and that I'm not interested in. So I'm going to have to feel very empowered to stand up against my husband and go with Sally.
Did you tell them the group said that that's the way it's supposed to be?
The group said that would be
Okay,
wonderful.
very good. Yolanda?
It was a wonderful experience. My group was very warm and very open. They shared the dreams that they had. If they didn't have a dream, they meditated and thought about it for me. They were very open about sharing what the dream meant to them and looking at relationships, and they were very, very on target. I work with data for funding in the New York City Board of Ed system. And one lady saw floating money and lines and graph papers. Another lady saw school buses. I have been an elementary school teacher, and I work in a school, even though it's with adults now. And another person had children in a dream. They saw different homes. I'm considering retiring to Toronto. And people saw different houses, some houses a little bit separated. I have 2 different places that I live in now, and I'm considering future moving.
What would you say would be the major help that you got from it?
I think the major help was looking at all the different pieces, looking at the gifts that I have, to treasure the gifts that I have and the wonderful people that they have around me for support, and to explore and take a look before I move on.
Okay, great, thank you. Nancy?
Well, first of all, I want to thank my group very much for all their input. And my question was, what's holding me back in life, and what can I do to get past this? Or what's keeping me from moving forward, and what can I do to get past this? And each one really had a lot to offer. Actually, everything fit. I could apply something in my life to each thing each person said, and a lot of it has to do with me holding myself back, and they gave me insight into other aspects of what's holding me back. And the last person that was next to me that spoke about was that he was very peaceful. He was right where he wanted to be, so we figured out that's where I'm going to end up. I'm going to get exactly what I want.
I'm just trying to think how to start because I feel overwhelmed, I guess. I came in with one question that actually I had 2 things and I didn't know which one to choose. So I chose one thing, and of course the group answered the other one. I mean, it was just incredible because that was the most important one, I think, and probably the one that I didn't want to look at the most, I have to say. Every single one related to the problem that I was having. It was a health problem, or is a health problem. And I think the best help that it gave me was encouragement. I don't feel so fearful about getting checked out or what I have to do. They gave me some good ideas about what to do. Nobody really diagnosed me, so don't get worried about that or told me what to do. I know they're all saying we're not supposed to tell you. But we were supposed to come up with some ideas about, underlying cause. And they were all great. I feel incredible. I feel overwhelmed. And I feel more fearless to do what I need to do to feel better. And it's just incredible. That's all I can say. I will have more to say once I come down.
Actually, I've gone blank. Mine was about healing and trying to discover the primary source of my problem. And each person came up with different dreams that, when you look at them all singularly, were just a hodgepodge. But when you started analyzing and grouping together, 3 or 4 would come up with the same format, so that I came away feeling that I can do it, I can change, I can be a new me. That was it.
I don't know how we select these groups to have such insight. My question was Siberia. Should I go? Because it looks like I could be going to Siberia. And they had an analysis of my situation that was just unbelievable. And it was awful hard to contain myself, not to tell them what the question was all through it, because it was coming down on what my situation is when I go to a place like this, and it just, I think every one of them honed in on some aspect of it, and it's just simply marvelous, and I'd like to thank these people.
I want to thank my group, but I also want to thank the symphony conductor that put me here with all of you and made this all work, because it worked incredibly well and gave me a sense of my place in a much bigger picture than I was giving myself permission to be in, and put me in a place where I feel much more. I'm very scared about going forward, but I feel like they were telling me in all the ways the things that stop me can't stop me anymore. I can't use them as excuses anymore. I have to allow this instrument to be used, and I am extremely happy to have been given that, and very humble to have it to give at all, and hope that I can give to all of you while you're here.
I would like to thank my group. They put a lot of energy and work into trying to help me. My question was a relationship question, and each and every one of them, it was amazing because they all said their dreams, and then we got to what the question was. It was just unbelievable to me how this happens. I mean, there's such love and caring, and it's the only way I could express it, because how else could they do all that to get those questions answered? It's just amazing, and I thank them all.
I want to thank my group. They all gave me a gift. A gift of direction. Again, they were all pretty accurate in one way or another. When I said what my question was, they were like, you know, everybody pretty much knew by the time we went around the circle there what my question was. And what I thought was so neat was they didn't only give to me, but they were able to give to themselves, because when Henry said, look at your dream and how did it apply to them, they were all able to take something away from the group for themselves also, which I thought was really, really neat. So they gave me a gift and a direction, because now I got a pretty good idea what my question was, what I want to do, a job that I want to do and still be home with my family. So I was able to get a direction on that, and I think we all got something out of it, not just me. Thank you, guys.
Well, I think this is quite a process that I'm just amazed. I want to thank my group. They're really wonderful. Of how we can work like this. And my question was regarding a past experience in Jamaica. I spent a lot of years in the Caribbean, and something that I'm in the process with now. And the dreams that came up were, I felt, really profound and right on. I'm just amazed at how we are all connected, and we can tune in to each other, you know, at will. That's our intent. I've benefited greatly from what has been gone around in our group, and I just want to say thank you, and thank you to everybody here. This has been a really nice workshop.
My name is Nailda Mulder, and I'm kind of tense because of words, English problem, but I'll try to relax. And I make her words my words, and I felt so emotional. I knew my question is very emotional. Every time I ask in my dream about this question, I never dream. And I usually dream, my dreams are so big that I can fill up 3 pages big, like this big. But every time I ask this special question, I don't dream. So I took the opportunity to have this because I knew I was so right that, so I knew that would happen, having this group to help me. And they did. It was amazing. Each one had all the help that they could give me, and I'm very, very helpful. Everyone was very, very right. They were on target. And the question was about a relationship between me and my mother-in-law. It was a big emotional issue. So I'm very thankful because without this group, I would never find out what I found. So I'm very, very thankful. And the lesson that I got was that my mother-in-law, was the vehicle to teach me to learn how to let it go and move forward and grow spiritually, emotionally, and mentally and every way. So that was the lesson, and it was a good lesson, and I thank you very, very, very much.
I just want to thank God for the wonderful dream team back there. Thank you. It was a great exercise for me. It was really wonderful. Not only did they answer what I thought was an unanswerable question, but they answered all the issues surrounding it and why it was an unanswerable question. So thank you very much. Oh, and they've also all agreed to help me move to Santa Fe in May.
Okay, let's give a round of applause to these people who they were your excuse for discovering just what you can do in your dreams. Now, this is a very simple ceremony. We don't really need to know anything, have any theory, have any metaphysical concepts or what have you. You can do this at your own home, have some people come by. You can draw a name out of the hat, dream for that person, come back the next day and process the dreams, and you have a way in your own community that you can provide some very special help for one another.